Alright, so we're back and we're going to start decorating our pages and our covers. I've decided this one is going to be my cover to my Spineless journal. I've put a little bit of gesso on the back over the book pages. Haven't done any stamping on it yet. Might leave it plain, or I might put some stamping later. I've already cut this off, but I've got this paper which is in the kit, which I think is lovely on this side, but I also actually like this area, which I've cut one off one side, and I think I'm going to pop it on there as a start to my cover design. I've gathered a few other bits and pieces as well. I've got this organza. It's actually meant to be attached to clothing, to decorate clothing up. It's a little organza flower. It's got quite a blingy centerpiece to it, which I'm not 100% certain that I want in the middle. So I've taken it apart. They do actually come apart quite easily if you hang on to the organza part and pull this up. It comes off quite easily because it's got a little metal attachment underneath here, which then you take that off as well. So I've got that, which I like, which I thought I may put sort of there. I've some of these which I think are vintage sequins, but they aren't plastic like normal sequins. They're actually mother of pearl shell, and they are absolutely beautiful, but they aren't buttons because they've only got one hole. So I think it's like a sequin, but a vintage sequin, which I thought that would look quite nice in the centre there rather than the bling. Saying that, I do quite like this, so this may go somewhere else. I've got a little offcut from when I did my pages and covered the backs with the book pages, and it's just the top and it just has words and numbers. I have a thing about numbers, but actually I have a thing about just dictionary pages with words on. So I'm going to cut that just so it's a little bit neater. Probably ink the edges up. And I'll put that possibly about there. And then I'll get I like this number as well. I like numbers. Again, neaten it up at the bottom, and I'll make it a little bit smaller at the top, and I think I'll possibly pop that up towards the top up there, just so it brings your eye from one to the other. I have this, which is a sheet of Scrappy Knits chipboards. They're really, really pretty. And as you can see, I've started to ink them up. And I did this just by using vintage photo distress ink and a makeup brush, and just swirled it over the chipboard. If you haven't got a makeup brush, you can use something like a makeup sponge. Just get some ink onto the sponge and then just dab it on to the chipboard. I think you don't get as subtle a look doing it this way, and you have got to be careful to dab rather than rub, because if you rub too hard the chipboard can be damaged. But that's a way of getting it coloured as well. If you wanted less colour, you could just gently dab it on and just gradually build it up. some of that ink that's left over there. So as you can see, I prefer the brush, but you can do it with the foam. Now when you take these out of the carrier sheet, what you need is a craft knife. Doesn't really matter what kind, I've got two. I prefer this one, it's a little bit easier to deal with. And each of the chipboard elements has some little tiny, and they are minute, lugs which just hold them into the carrier sheet. So you just need to very gently cut through those. And there's usually 2 or 3 on each element. This one's got 2. And you're just going to go between the element and the carrier sheet and gently cut through. That one's got 2, this one had 2, that one's got 1 there, 1 there. This one had 1 there and 1 there. So most of them have got 2. Once you've done that, if you very gently take them out, you'll see if I haven't quite cut through because it'll still hang on into the carrier sheet. There we are. I'll just do this one. It's got 2. As I say, you have to be very, very gentle because they can quite easily damage. And then once you've got them out, you'll have the little white areas. I just ink over those just to cover them up, just so it all looks the same sort of colour. Just blends it in a little bit more. There we are. Just do these 2. There we are. So I'll set that one aside just for the moment, out of the way. And then we'll see where we think with these. Now this one I think will be too big. Let's take that off at the moment. Yeah, because they're so delicate, I don't want it to be over the edge. That one is too big, but I may cut it down. I might have one here, one there, and one here. On these organza flowers, you may have to just very carefully cut round the edge of some of the bits because they've got little extra bits of organza where it's been machine stitched. You sometimes just get a little bit of organza extra, so I just snip those off. There, then we've got our little sequin, vintage sequin in the middle, and I quite like that. When I get my journal all done, all the different pages, which are separate, put together, I'm going to tie it to hold it together with some twine and some velvet ribbon, which will go around the middle. So what I'll need to remember is to put anything just further down towards the bottom so that it doesn't get caught up in that. But I think that'll do for my front cover. I don't think I want any more. I don't think I want to go any further up. See, with the chipboards you can actually cut them apart. You can either do it with a knife, or sometimes it's easier with scissors. So there we are, we've got 2 pieces. I could go up there with another one, which I think I might, because I quite like that actually, and that still gives me this piece to use. So I'm just going to ink up the edges of my little numbers. This is just vintage photo. Remember, I need that up there. I've got this one, which just says property. They're very random words, but I quite like random words, which I think is going to go down there. So I'll just use my PVA just to start to glue these on. My PVA is plumbed up. I'll just stop the video while I get my glue sorted out. Right, I've got my glue bottle sorted out, so I'll just move these off for now. But remember where I had them. I think this one I need a little bit more texture on it. So I'm just going to take my scissors and rough the edges up. I might have a little bit more distress ink on the edges as well. There we are. So I think I want that one, yeah, just there. Make sure I've got ink on all the edges. And we'll go there. And I'm just lining it up with the edge. And you can use whatever papers you like. You don't have to use this one, you can use text paper, whatever you fancy. So I think our little property is going to go at the bottom. I'm just going to overlap a little bit. There we are. Let's see. My tie's going to go middle way. So these are going to go in here. Yep. Now, a tip for putting glue on this is you can do this, you don't have to do it on your hand, you can do it on a piece of, you can do it on your glass mat, anything. Just get a little bit of glue on a surface. If you're doing it on a glass mat, you just tap it onto your glass mat. I tend to do it on my hand because it's just easy. I put PVA on the back of my hand and then I'm just going to dab this into there. And then I'm just going to put that coming around there. That makes sure that you've got glue all over the back of your your chipboards. Just unbung my glue again. It's got a bit of a problem with not working today. Don't know why. I'll have a bit more glue on the back of my hand. Right, so this will go here. So I want these coming up. I think I want it. Which way do I want it? I think I want it that way. I'll just smooth my glue out a bit more on the back of my hand so it isn't quite so thick. So we've got glue all over the back. Then we're going to go there. Press it all on. And then this one I want a little bit further up. So it looks as if it's joined onto there. Go a bit further up and then it does actually. Yeah, and then it's all onto the front cover. There's no overlapping bits to get caught. So there we are. Make sure we've got enough glue. It's well and truly stuck. And now I shall put my flower on. Now I'm going to use this really heavy duty PVA, but heavy gel medium would do the same, or soft matte gel would do the same. Just be aware this being fabric takes a little bit longer to set because it soaks into the fabric. So I put a reasonable amount on. I've put my first layer of organza flower. Let's have a look. I think that's the... yeah. Next layer of PVA. Doesn't want to stick. This is always the problem a little bit with fabric. It takes a little bit of grab time. Okay, I think we'll have to go for heavy gel medium. It might just stick a little bit better. If you've got a glue gun, you could use a glue gun as well. I might as well do both sides. Flower petal just in between. There we are. And then this will go on. There we are. Now I'm just wondering whether I should have a little bit of bling there. Actually, I think I will. So because this is plastic, I'm going to use my heavy gel medium again. I'm just going to pop that down there. There we are. Put that in the water. So that is our front cover. So I'm going to set that aside to dry, and then we'll move on to the next page.